Dude, I don't have an intro.
Yet. You don't have an intro yet.
Very nice.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here before and after the movies. Today we are doing The Green Knight.
Episode A24. What?
It was all planned from the beginning.
Yeah. The 24 special. We envisioned this.
Yeah. So was talking to Anthony leading up to this that we thought we'd kind of maybe break away from our superhero Marvel DC structure.
We've
Don't
been
worry.
on the blockbuster train for a while.
Exactly. We'll be right back at it in our next episode, believe you me. But for this one here, we're going to go indie. We're going to go A24.
Yep, where it all began for us.
It did, yeah, The Lighthouse. Robert Eggers.
Yep.
So this one, The Green Knight.
Starring Dev Patel, Alicia Vikander,
Yep.
and Joel Edgerton.
Two actors I don't like. Dev Patel, absolutely atrocious. Has no business being in Hollywood, but
Is this a bit of envy sneaking in here?
That's not envy. I mean,
It's a little bit. This could have been you.
It could have been. It should have been me. No, but no, it's good to see Dev getting these roles.
Yeah.
And breaking a lot of barriers and whatnot. So
he's like really establishing himself as a leading man.
Yeah.
Starting with kind of like Lion.
That was a big one.
His first foray is like not. I saw an interview with him where he was saying like I would always just get offered like the tech guy.
Yeah, the brown role, the token brown guy role.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now he's getting these like heroic like leading roles. So that's good to see.
Yep.
Going into this movie, I feel like kind of going back to these A24 roots, it's the hardest movie that we've had to do in a while in terms of predictions, just because the trailer gives you very little, especially that teaser.
Yeah, the teaser we were mentioning is very tonally different from trailer one.
Yeah.
Where, like, both of them, if I'm the lay movie person, if I'm the average movie person, I'm going to be expecting like a nice fantasy action movie.
Yeah.
And part of me is still kind of hoping for that.
Totally.
But I know I'm going to get some fucking abstract,
experimental
symbolic,
dream sequences.
Yeah.
What's real, what's not.
So much religious allegory. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, scriptures on the wall that you're supposed to interpret.
Yeah.
You makes you feel like a dumbass because like other people are just like, oh, this is totally an homage to Richard III's like.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, did anyone else catch that reference?
Yeah, like in Tibet in 1700.
Yeah, oh my god, that's like you've just summed up how I feel about this movie right now. And I'm still excited, but I know I'm gonna get like
religious allegory is gonna be nonstop.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my first prediction here. I think we'll get a slightly disappointing amount of action.
Yeah, for sure.
Having said that, I think we might get like at least one good fight scene within the first like 15 minutes. Probably like I think his name is Gawain.
Yeah.
Kind of on like a mission as he returns back to their kingdom, and then you won't see anything for like 70 minutes.
Yeah, and
talking.
like even that, I like the fantasy elements. Like the quick teaser has got this like big hand, or like kind of these like intense.
The giant
scenes.
people is in the second trailer as well.
Oh, I don't fuck
like,
miss that.
There's like these celestial beings, kind of like Prometheus vibe.
Okay.
Just like walking in through the clouds and stuff.
Yeah, and I bet you we'll just get like
what does that mean?
Like little teases of that, but we'll never be able to like fully get a nice full on shot. Like it's not going to be the fantasy action movie, or I shouldn't even say action. It's not going to be the fantasy movie you're expecting. It's going to be very grounded,
more along like kind of the Pan's Labyrinth. Yeah, I mean it's interesting to see like A24 take on this genre, and also like you'd expect a typical fantasy movie of this nature to be in that sort of like 100 million to 200 million budget range. Whereas this, I don't know if you saw the budget, but it's 15 mil.
Yeah, I heard it was low.
So it'd be interesting to kind of see how they manage to stretch that budget out. And I'm excited to see how the director is able to like maximize that budget and create an epic feeling spectacle, because the trailer, like, you wouldn't know it's
the trailer looks
budget.
Yeah, the trailer looks epic, but I bet you in reality the movie's gonna be slow and grounded.
Yeah, they're gonna have to like, in order to stretch that budget across the runtime, we're gonna get a lot of like dungeon dialogue scenes,
lingering shots,
table dinner, family.
God. I can already tell you right now it's gonna be like slow paced, disjointed, no structure.
Yeah, I was gonna say like one of my predictions I put to you is, do you think this is like a linear film at the very least, or are we just like jumping around this guy's life constantly?
Like timeline wise, probably linear, but does it follow like one story for him, like one mission kind of thing? No, it's just all over.
So, and it's not. I don't think we're gonna get like a 3-act structure. Like
we never do with these guys.
Having said that, though, for people who may not be aware, the actual premise of this movie is very simple. The premise of the film is there's this young knight, and he's like living in this kingdom. It seems like he's either like a prince or like some kind of heir for big things. And this wooden creature approaches and basically challenges him to like a fight for either of their heads in a year, or like you have a year or something like that, right?
Okay.
And then he leaves.
Yeah.
So it's basically about like whether it was like just a game or like whether he has to fulfill this like destiny. But it seems like the thing's going to culminate in this like duel with this like monster.
Will we get to see this duel at the end?
No.
That's the start of fast question number 1.
Yeah.
Fast question number 2. Will Dev Patel phone in another performance?
Has he ever phoned in a performance?
No.
17 years, Jess.
Or
I have to find my mom. I need to know she's okay.
Don't forget, he was in Avatar: The Last Airbender. So. Question number 3. After this movie, will you have to YouTube Green Knight Explained?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Even when we typed the trailer, like, Explained came up before trailer.
Why, like, does A24 pride themselves on people having to do that? That's a question for you, because it's like, why?
I think they're just trying to break the status quo. They're trying to make you have an experience. Every time you sit in that theater, you're supposed to walk out with questions. You're supposed to question yourself. You're supposed to like think on a deeper level than just that 1.5 hours of escapism.
And that's fine. Like, thinking on deep levels, I agree with. But I think the challenge for a modern day filmmaker should be like, you got to toe the line between completely losing your audience and challenging your audience to think.
So for you, where did The Lighthouse, for example, fall on that scale? Like too far to the losing the audience side?
I think Lighthouse did an appropriate amount, because there was stuff that I got that I was like, oh yeah, but then there was, again, a lot of religious allegory.
Yeah.
I was looking at it and someone's like, oh, this is so-and-so's tale in the old book. Yeah. And I was like,
So-and-so's
like how,
tale.
like, it's so lost.
Hereditary is another great example of that.
Okay.
Like, you haven't seen it, I presume.
Watch the first 20 minutes, turn it off because it's too scary.
Yeah, don't blame you. But like that movie at the end is like, there's like literally, like I looked it up, I did an explain video, and there's like this whole book of like this religious folk tale from like the 1300s that the whole thing is like based off of, and there's like all these pictures of like sacrifices. And,
wow.
Because from what I understand, like A24, they are a distribution company. So like if you actually look at all these films, there's like 4 or 5 different production companies. So maybe A24, I have to like do more research, but like I think they're seeking out movies like this. They kind of, even though the genres seem to be all very different, they've done like comedies, horror, action. They want that like X factor of not following like the typical structure.
You know what? It is kind of fun. If you did enjoy the movie, it is kind of fun to kind of go down the rabbit hole. Yeah. Do the explain.
How did you see it? How did you see it?
Exactly. Yeah. So, okay.
And kind of on that, talking about A24, I wrote down a list of A24 films just to kind of convey, one, how out there they are and how massive of a company they're getting. And they're doing it. They seem to have this like philosophy of small budget, but feeling like a big scale film, like a film that the same premise could have had like a $200 million budget.
Okay.
So there's quite a few here. So Green Knight, Minari, Saint Maud, Spring Breakers. I think that was one of their early films. Yeah. The Spectacular Now, Enemy, Jake Gyllenhaal. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. That was Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, it was.
Huh.
Under the Skin, the
Scarlett Johansson, yeah.
Locke with Tom
Hardy.
Tusk.
With Justin Long.
Yeah, okay. This has become a game.
Okay, I'm ready.
A Most Violent Year.
With Joaquin Phoenix?
Oscar Isaac. While We're Young.
I don't know.
Oh, really? It's on Netflix. It's Adam Driver and Ben Stiller. So good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a really good dramedy. Ex Machina.
With Oscar Isaac, Domhnall Gleeson.
And?
Alicia Vikander.
Yeah. Amy, which is the Amy Winehouse documentary.
Oh, okay.
Room. That was big for them.
With Brie Larson.
Yeah.
That was A24,
yeah.
right? Wow.
The Witch.
With,
amazing movie.
Anya Taylor-Joy. Still haven't watched that. It is actually number 1 on our to-watch list. I'm just too scared.
It is quite scary. Okay. So we'll see how that goes for you. Green Room. Remember the one about like the heavy metal band? It's about this group who gets stuck at like a show where this neo-Nazi band is playing. I can't remember if it's Daniel Radcliffe, but we'll have to look it up because it had like a really cool cast, and I started watching it, but I fell asleep. Not that it wasn't good. The Lobster.
Oh, with is that Mel Gibson?
I think it's Colin Farrell, isn't it?
Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson's the beaver.
Yeah. Directed by Jodie Foster. Swiss Army Man.
That's Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah. Moonlight.
Oh, really?
That was huge for them.
Mahershala
Ali. It Comes at Night, which I haven't seen.
Joel Edgerton.
Okay.
Trailer looked good, but
you saw it?
No.
Yeah.
I remember because it was after Moonlight.
Right.
That was their big follow-up trailer, and it looked really interesting from like a non-A24 perspective. If it was like a standard film, I think I remember I read the synopsis because I was just so curious.
Yeah. That's these movies. They do really elicit like a curiosity.
Yes, they bring you in for sure.
The trailers are just always incredible. A Ghost Story, which for me is probably the worst A24 movie I've seen.
I haven't seen it, but I know which movie you're talking
with
about.
Casey Affleck.
And it's just like,
I mean, you can see the talent that they're attracting. All these actors are like top of Hollywood's wish list.
Yep.
But I think like when it comes to these A24 projects, I'm sure they're taking like below their usual pay because it's just like a great notch to have on your belt.
Yep.
A Ghost Story was awful.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not check it out. Just like when you're talking like allegories and like experimental for the sake of it. I won't give any spoilers, but it's worth watching just for the experience. It really was like a baffling experience. Like what the fuck is going on?
That's hilarious.
Spans like 1,000,000 years in time. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah. Lady Bird.
Okay. Yeah.
Disaster Artist.
No way.
Yeah.
Huh.
Hereditary.
Yeah.
8th Grade.
With Bo Burnham or by Bo Burnham?
No, it's with is it by Bo Burnham? The two girls?
Bo Burnham wrote it, didn't he?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, interesting. That was a really funny movie. I don't know if you saw it.
I haven't, no.
A Prayer Before Dawn, which is a fucking great movie. It's based on a true story about this like cage fighter who he's actually from Liverpool, and he goes like on a backpacking trip to Thailand, and then all his friends like go home, and he just like decides to stay there because he has nothing back home, and he just becomes like a cage fighter, and then gets addicted to drugs, and then gets sent to like a Thai prison. And becomes like a fighter in there because it's like if you fight, you're allowed to like get like more lunch and shit.
Wow,
it's a really good movie. I would definitely check it out. And then mid-90s directed by Jonah Hill.
Okay, yeah.
Midsommar.
Yep.
The Farewell, another huge like Oscar category one.
I don't know that one.
It's with Akin Fenwa, I think.
It's Aquafina.
That's a soccer player.
Akin Fenwa. Oh my goodness.
What's her name? Aquafina?
It's
like the water?
Aquafina, yeah.
Is Dasani in it too?
Aquafina.
Akin Fenwa.
That's insane.
She plays this like immigrant who moved to the US at a really young age, and then she finds out that like her grandma's dying, or she goes back to visit her grandma, and then it's basically based on the director's like personal life, and it's her like reconnecting with her.
Oh, I remember.
Past. Yeah,
they were up on the Oscars stand.
Oh yeah, all over the Oscars. Yeah. The Lighthouse. How could we forget? Uncut Gems.
Okay,
Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Val, the new Val Kilmer documentary that's coming out.
Oh, great.
You haven't heard about it?
No, I haven't.
You're gonna feel like an asshole now.
I take it back. Cut that out.
He has throat cancer.
Start again.
No.
No, start again.
No, leave all this.
No,
in.
absolutely not.
He has throat cancer, and he got his like voice box removed, and now he talks with this like
Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
like in real life.
Yeah, in real life. It's a documentary, and now he talks like with a like a Siri machine,
like a talk box or whatever.
A talk box, and he's been filming his life since like the 80s. And this is like a whole like just like a personal like memoir. Like it looks absolutely sensational.
Jeez.
And you're a terrible person. No, I'm just kidding. You had no idea. And then Lamb, the new movie that's coming out.
Oh yeah, that's fucking weird.
That's just like A24 just going all in. So like yeah, just that. I skipped over a few, but it just goes to show like how far this production company's come. And this kind of feels like maybe their like biggest budget movie yet.
Yeah, this had a lot of buzz in it. It really got its legs taken out from the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's been delayed, and it was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah, it kind of has like a bit of a New Mutants vibe.
Yeah,
like,
honestly.
It's getting shelved, and like, is it ever going to come out?
And it ended up not coming out in the UK, because this is a UK kind of fantasy tale.
Right.
So there's a lot of hype from it there, but I think they just ended up going. They kept wanting to do theaters, and then it'd be like one weekend before cases go up. So like, okay, I think they're doing streaming now, which is,
yeah, I mean, like it is playing in theaters here in Canada, but we're gonna watch it from home.
Yeah.
Which I feel a little bit guilty about because I'd love to support like the box office revenue for a movie like this, but they'll probably get more money from us this way.
Yeah, probably.
Because you skip the middleman, right? Like you're going straight to the
straight in their pockets. Okay, without further ado, can you give me an opening scene?
Yeah, I've gone pretty basic with it. I think I've gone a little out there with my last few opening scenes. So Dev Patel's a kid.
I knew it.
No, I'm going with the wooden man is riding a horse through the woods, and you're hearing like some poem that you have no idea what's going on, and then maybe like there's some like sea or like some like sea creature lady that just like watches him go by, a little lighthouse shared universe reference, and then he just like shows up to like the drawbridge of this guy's kingdom and like demands entrance, and I think he like takes off his own head all the time, right?
Okay.
So like he does that, and then they like open the door.
Yeah,
and then he challenges. I think we start quite conventionally, and then it just like as he starts his journey through this like unprecedented territory, that's when things get like really out there.
Do you think in this movie like Dev Patel will start to like go insane and go mad?
I've got psychedelics. I think will be a part of this movie, like some mushroom.
Of course, it all feels like, I know it's out there, but it all feels very cookie cutter, right?
How does this movie?
I don't know. It's like they got a little formula. Like, okay, we're gonna do a tripping scene.
Yeah.
The audience gonna questions what's happening and what's not.
Right. Here's the poem. So here's a soliloquy.
Exactly. What's the like unreliable narrator or something like that? It's like a term.
That's true.
Okay, my opening scene is very similar to my Jungle Cruise one. Storybook flipping.
Dwayne Johnson.
Storybook flipping, no narration.
Storybook flipping.
It's just like flipping pages, and all of a sudden there's like a disfigured child.
It's always Shrek style.
Yeah, and it starts flipping a bit faster and faster, and it's getting very gory. And then all of a sudden, like, they start flipping like a flip book, and then like blood encompasses all the pages.
Oh, okay.
And then the blood drips down into a crown.
And then, hey now. You're wrong side. Okay. Oh, the blood drips into a crown. Is Dev Patel giving our voiceover or like?
There's no voiceover.
Oh, okay.
Just pictures.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And it gets kind of like sinister music. Yeah.
How does it go?
And like in the teaser, the other kind of cookie cutter thing is like some kind of puppet thing.
Yeah.
First of all, the kid's like, yay, loving it. One of the kids goes missing.
Yeah. The initial
Jonathan.
The teaser for this one was very similar to the Witch teaser.
Yeah, and you always see
Peekaboo.
like some person in the distance, and then they look back and they're gone, or like their head's twice the size as it was.
Oh my god. Okay, couple predictions here.
Yep.
The fox that's talking to him.
Yep.
It's like a family member or best friend that's like reincarnated.
Or like, okay, not like a curse.
No. I
Okay.
think it's like a good fox.
Okay, I have something similar to that, but I think the fox betrays our protagonist and turns into some like weasel thing from the Suicide Squad. Yeah. You've been bad.
Oh, fuck.
Stay out of the forbidden forest. And then it has like a dead fetus inside it or something.
Yeah.
It's like, it was like a fucked up little
like
fetus.
some birthing scene or something. just to fuck with you a little bit. Another one is he becomes the tree person at the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's him from the future, or like?
Oh no! He just like the curse befolds him or beholds him. Yeah,
I really like that. I think
bark on his hand and stuff.
I think you're onto something there.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think we see the fight?
No.
Maybe just like a couple of clangs.
A couple of clangs and like maybe like a.
Dev Patel can't do good sword choreography.
Like a fire silhouette kind of thing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And then just the head fall off.
Yeah.
In the shadow. And then it just like
but you don't know
into flames.
You don't know whose head it is.
Yeah. Something's gonna spontaneously burst into flames.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. I have a Dev Patel shirtless scene, but he doesn't look as good as he wants to.
So the cinematographer's using all like the shadows and lighting.
He's all greased up.
Dev, we're gonna make this in moonlight. And he's like, bathing in like a lake or something. And there's like a face in the lake.
Okay, yeah. Or the lake turns into like
tar.
Different color or something. Yeah. He's almost drowned.
And he wakes up and his kindling still burning a little
bit. Where does Alicia Vikander come into this movie?
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe she's like mocap.
She's the fox.
Has she been in any of the trailers? I don't know.
I didn't look hard enough to see.
I didn't even know she was in it until I looked at the thing. Joel Egerton, I imagine, is like sort of like somewhat of like a mentor figure that he meets along the way. Like,
I thought he was the tree.
No, his face is in the trailer. Like,
oh, really?
Oh, unless Joel Egerton is the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just swear I saw his like regular like with a cloak.
Tree.
Yeah.
You bet fantasy fans are just tearing their hair out.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
I have here audio slash audio slash dialogue will be very Nolan-esque.
Yeah, like hard to hear.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have to turn on the subtitles halfway through. Gift to it.
I must not go later.
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of like Dev Patel like speaking to himself a lot.
Yeah. Moonlight.
He's a poet by like on the side.
Like I think he might be journaling throughout.
Okay, yeah.
With like a little quill.
Yeah. The audience is expected to like read his journal pages and like quick flashes.
I feel like the tree's gonna be very hard to hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
Are we going subtitles for this, or do you think it's part of the experience to not really be able to hear?
Let's try and go without. If we both deem it necessary, then by all means.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to ask you, do you think we'll see a linear narrative? And you kind of said like maybe for the most part. Mm-hmm. Do you anticipate symbolism to the point where you have no idea what's going on?
100%.
Here's a question for you. Like, what does the Green Knight mean?
Two things.
Okay.
It's either like green like a tree knight.
Right.
Or green like he's new and he's like, you know, he's green.
Right.
Green around the grills.
Do you think there could be like an undercurrent of like environmentalism going on in this movie? Or
no,
doesn't strike me as that kind of film.
No, if it was modern
maybe
day,
like a climate change like hidden meaning in there, like
not modern. If it was like an original, maybe, but it's a fantasy retelling. I think they kind of have to they can't. It's hard to mix in.
So what is this based off of? Like
a King Arthur type thing.
Really?
Like a medieval tale.
Okay, and it's been like novelized in the past, I guess.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I do have here just a quick note about your symbolism. And we've kind of talked about this, but I wrote down A24 movies are kind of pretentious that people pretend to like.
Right.
And my whole reasoning behind it is because there's so much symbolism, which is nice. We've talked about it. It's kind of good to research, but there's no like overarching theme to the symbolism. It's like they're chucking so many different symbols representing so many different things. They're never connected. Yeah,
and it's like you wonder. It's like deep down, I feel like the people who write and direct these movies are like very smart. Mm-hmm. Like history buffs, like I'm sure that they do have like a pretty damn close, but it's like presented in a way where like you could never really figure it out.
You can never find the pattern or the link. Yeah,
it's like only they know their inner mind and like how they relate to things. And
well said.
It'll be interesting to like watch a couple of explained things after this and like see how much Chris Stuckman pretends like he understands all the symbolism.
Nice.
Shots fired. Okay, I got a couple other little things for you. Oh yeah, the other prediction I have is I feel like one of the themes of this will be Dev Patel's not as noble as he appears.
Oh, so he's
I feel like in his backstory, he's like betrayed his family or something, or like pushed his brother off.
Yeah. So there's like some sort of conscience thing that follows him, like cheater, liar.
Yeah, exactly.
Burn the fire.
I feel like he may see like if he did like cause someone's death, like we'll say it's his little brother, like he'll see him throughout the forest as he's going like, hi.
Yeah,
exactly. Why did you do it? Why? How many times will he wake up within his waking up?
And out of breath. Yeah, there's definitely be like an abrupt wake up. Yeah, from him.
I think we'll just get like one nice hunting scene. Like he needs some food, and we just get a bit of comedy of him like shooting a bow and arrow at like a squirrel or something. Okay. But then he goes to it, it's like dead inside and
it's all rotted.
Yeah, exactly.
He eats it anyway.
No, he doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look like that until he starts eating it.
Yeah.
So just quickly touching on some like audience reaction so far. Okay. I'm gonna hit you with the Rotten Tomatoes.
Sure, I'll allow it.
87%.
Not bad.
The IMDb 6.9 out of 10. Which usually goes to say it's a bit of snobby critics liking it, but the everyday user not liking it so much. Which kind of falls in line with what we expect. $15 million budget, and it's directed by David Lowery.
15 or 50?
15.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Directed by David Lowery, whose filmography does unfortunately include A Ghost Story.
Okay.
So I'm hoping he's toned it down a little bit. Disney's Pete's Dragon.
Okay.
Which was a good movie. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I did.
It was very under the radar, but it had It was as close to a Disney A24 crossover as you could
Really?
ever get. Because like the visuals were very like indie, and it wasn't like this like happy-go-lucky movie. It was like quite dark.
Huh.
And I thought that was like a kind of underrated movie.
Okay.
So I'm happy he did that. And he's also doing the new Peter Pan and Wendy for Disney as well, which is apparently like a big production.
Damn.
So this guy seems to be like, he seems to like that kind of like folklore like story, but has like a darker side to him too.
Okay, so I'm sure he's got a great vision for this movie then.
Yeah, and I don't know if he like wrote this. I actually have no idea.
He did, yep.
Okay, so it seems like a big passion project, and I'm excited to see what he's got in store for us.
Yeah, me too.
All right, I think that's pretty much good to go. Let's get some popcorn and
let's
throw
get
this
some
sucker
snacks.
on. Let's see if we can find it for $1 cheaper across all streaming
Hell
platforms.
yeah.
All right, we'll see you in 3, 2, 1. And we are back.
Yep, we're back from The Green Knight.
Yep. A home viewing experience, which made it a little better, not having to slug all the way home and then do this.
Yeah, so we're just passing out on the couch.
Yeah. I had a couple tired waves throughout that.
All right, shall we get into this out of 10?
Yep. 3, 2, 1, 5.
4?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd give it just about a passing grade because I'm sure there are things that were good about that movie that I don't get.
Yeah.
However, I can only go off of like what I saw.
100%.
Which was a very slow paced, kind of up its own ass.
All style, no substance.
All style, no substance. Some cool elements and like little moments, like little stretches of like promise. Just kind of going into the start of the movie. The first one that comes to mind is there's like a little intro that's like not great. And then it gets kind of like ordinary, like good for a minute. It has this great opening where there's like this percussion going and like the water's, remember the water's dropping and with the same time as the music. And we see Dev Patel is like living in this kingdom and he's going about his day. And there's like this big one-er shot where he's like getting dressed. And I was like, okay, this is a narrative I can kind of follow. He's like a high-ranking person in this like kingdom, but he's like very unfulfilled. And then it just starts to then it has much longer patches of just like incoherent poetry nonsense.
Yeah, it's not the kind of movie where if someone came up to me and they gave it an 8 or a 9, they loved it, I don't think I'd argue otherwise.
Yeah,
it's not the kind of movie I'd argue and say no, it's actually shit. Like I just think like it was just lost on me, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. Like so much of it was just going over my head, and I think by the end, like I get the broad strokes of the movie. So like, I guess if we can just talk about like, so the overall story plot, is this Green Knight just comes into their house, into their castle. He comes into their castle and their keep while they're having like a celebration for Christmas, and everything's going really well for Dev Patel. The king's basically saying like, I want you like by my side. Yeah. And then the king's like, the Green Knight's like, who will play a game with me where like you can hit me anywhere, and then I can do the exact same to you a year from now.
And Dev Patel's feeling awfully confident.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'll do it. And then,
okay.
And then he cuts off the Green Knight's head, and then the trick.
Thinking he's won.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that was so easy. Oh, because the Green Knight just presents himself and makes it like so easy, which was obviously like a trick. He's a very gullible, naive young man, basically.
Yeah. He's just trying to become like a knight.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Green Knight just like laughs, picks up his head, and like runs away.
Yeah, he's like, I'll see you in a year.
Yeah, so he has to go meet him, and then gets this like weird, existential, experimental, deviant.
It's a wild journey
where he's like, shall I go? They're all kind of pressuring him to do it and like become a legend or a fable.
Yeah, exactly. Become great.
Yeah, like they're already telling the story about it to the kids and all that. And then he goes. He goes on a horse, and he's a very unlikable character, like protagonist.
Yeah, like he's even rude to that. I don't know if you picked up like when he's going through that battlefield, that the Will Poulter wannabe is like, my brothers are buried here, and he doesn't really care. Yeah. And he gives him directions, and he's like, oh, like, you got anything? And he's like, just a thanks.
And eventually kind of gives him a coin, and you just see this guy get stripped of his like stripped of his armor within the first day. Loses everything.
Yeah.
And then just keeps fumbling through like hallucinations and visions and houses, and then a grass field, and then another castle.
He goes to like get that lady's head, and he's like, what do I get in return?
Well, he's very easily like talked into doing things,
but he's very greedy, and he is not like the best person.
Yeah. He like gets the head, and then it's a skull, but then it's a head, and the person's a skull. It's just all this like cool imagery. Like I can't fault the cinematography or like the editing or the filmmaking on show. And then we kind of get to this like, I'm skipping over a little bit here, but we kind of get to his final test where he goes to this very luxurious place, and he meets like all these guys. These people are so accommodating, and they're just like, oh, you can go whenever, like stay here. And there's like a better version of his girlfriend basically there, who's both parts played by Alicia Vikander, we assume.
I looked it up. I think so.
It's true. Yeah. Okay. Good. And then she basically is like easily talks him into like doing whatever she wants.
She's seducing him,
but he can't even last like a second.
The game is that he's allowed to take. He gets the Joel Edgerton goes hunting and gives him an animal a day, and in return Dev Patel has to return something that he gains at the house. Right. And I had to look this one up. So at the very end, Joel Edgerton and Dev Patel end up kissing. Yeah. Because Dev Patel gained a kiss from the lady. Oh, I see. So then he gives the kiss.
Yeah, okay. So were they together, like Joel Edgerton? And
I don't know.
Their relationship was very unclear. But she was just like, oh, if you want it, like take it. And then she was like, you're no knight. And it was just like,
because he resisted the temptation.
Oh no, he let her do it. And he's like, I want it. I'm going to take it.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he just like broke like that. Like he didn't stick to his like I think it was supposed to be like, you're supposed to confront the Green Knight without like trickery or like something that's going to make you invincible. But he instantly just like fell for it. Oh, okay. That's how I thought.
I like that.
Because at every test, he basically like failed. Like, he didn't see that those guys were like, tricking him.
And he was rude to them as well.
Yeah, like he felt like he just did what that girl asked him to right away, and like didn't get any reward for that really. He got his
axe back. No, but the whole thing with that one was she was like, he went to touch her first. She's like, why are you touching me? You're not a knight. And then when he goes in for just as he's about to jump in that like creek or whatever, he's like, what do I get in return? She's like, why are you asking that? Yeah. Just do it.
Because he's supposed to be a knight.
Yeah.
So they would
he failed that. He failed the temptation.
And then when later on his journey, he meets those giant celestial beings, and he's like, oh, like, can I get a ride with you? And as soon as the thing like goes to grab him, he just like flinches away. Yeah. So I think she was just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah. And with his fox friend, when he first... What? With his fox friend, when he first sees the fox, he like,
imagine if you haven't seen this movie.
He like throws a rock at it as a dick to it, right?
Yeah.
So his first impression
he's all salty.
Exactly. His first impression with everyone is that he's just a dick.
Yeah.
He's not a nice person.
And he's not noble.
Yeah.
He's just a coward.
Basically. And then you know what? Now that we're talking about it, that's reflected in his little premonition just before he's about to get beheaded.
Oh yeah. So then he gets to the end of his mission, and he meets the Green Knight, and he's like, okay, like. And it's very unspectacular. He's like, okay, I'm just going to cut your head off. And he's just like, I feel like he was expecting to like pass some test.
Yes.
And then every time the Green Knight like goes to do it, he like can't do it because he's too scared. And then we basically see this reality where he like just runs away, goes back home.
It
wasn't real.
No, I know, but I think
I don't think anyway.
What's supposed to happen is the Green Knight goes for the head swipe, but the belt protects him.
I don't think that's even what was happening, though.
Oh, really?
I don't think the belt was actually magical. I think it was the fact that he, like...
Thought it would...
Wanted it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Because, I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, but either way, you see him kind of live out this fantasy where he becomes this great knight, but he casts aside his girlfriend, keeps his kid, keeps her in the slums. Eventually, the kingdom falls to ruins. Yeah. Everyone comes for him. His son dies. And his kingdom gets overthrown.
Yeah, so but he's still wearing.
And he still wears the thing. So then he kind of realizes.
And then his head falls off.
Yes, when he takes off his belt.
Right.
So it's all symbolic that in the end everything's going to come to shit. I don't get to be the good person that I was.
Yeah, it's the grass isn't greener on the other side type story. And then we cut back to the climax, and he like takes off the belt, and then I think. He's still thinking like, oh, now I've made the right choice. The Green Knight's gonna like spare me.
Yeah.
And then the Green Knight is just like, off with your head, and then it's over.
So you think he dies?
Oh yeah.
I think so too. Yeah.
So like I think that was the whole thing, is like if you want to be a knight, you have to like accept death, and he was like never able to do that.
Or like even along his journey, he was never the knight that he should have been.
Right.
Really,
I don't see what all like the fuss was about with this movie. Like,
it was a lot of fun, a lot of hype.
Yeah, I think it was like the A24 banner, having Dev Patel in the lead. I was a little underwhelmed by what I saw. Like I didn't.
It's kind of what I expected, to be honest.
I was expecting like some more like visual eye candy. Like you know, it did feel to me like when the filmmaking got a little crazy, it did feel a bit forced to me, like with the upside down like drone shot.
Okay.
I'm like, are you just kind of doing this for the sake of it? Like
the scene where he was jumping in the water to like get the head, that was pretty cool when it like went all red and stuff.
We got like the space like went all red.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the problem with it was, and I hate to say this because it's so like elementary, but it was just boring. It was just a boring movie. And you can be like super out there, and like The Lighthouse was more out there than this, but it was a lot more entertaining.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I don't think it's just us being like ignorant per se. It's just there's like a little bit of that probably.
Oh, definitely a little bit of ignorance.
But I also just felt like the pacing was a big issue.
Yeah, because it also, I don't know if I'm phrasing this right, but it kind of went to like, you said it in the beginning, it was like, oh, this kind of feels like a normal linear movie. And then it would go out there, and then it would kind of come back in for a little bit of linear storytelling. Yeah. So that was quite jarring.
Yeah, there was a lot of moments that were just jarring, that just felt like weirdly convenient. Like when he got tied up by those like thieves, and then they just like left his sword there for him to like cut out. I don't know. Like maybe there's like another reason for that I don't know. Maybe it's in the poem, but like it just made me kind of lose interest because I just felt like there were no rules or anything really.
Yeah. So about the poem, I looked into it.
Okay.
So the actual Green Knight story is, they're all sitting along King Arthur's round table.
Okay.
And this Green Knight shows up with a challenge. What's his name? Gawain.
Yeah.
Gawain steps up, does it. And then the poem like glosses over the journey. It just says like, oh, it was a long journey. A lot of the poem takes place at the Lord and Lady's home, where there's this temptation from the lady, trading kisses with the Lord after he gains them from the lady and that kind of thing. And then eventually, because anything he's gaining, he's supposed to give back to Joel Edgerton. Right. So he gains the sachet, and then he lies to Joel Edgerton and says, you know, I didn't get anything. Then he goes... Oh,
he gets it from the lady.
Yeah. And then he goes and sees the Green Knight, and the Green Knight is actually Joel Edgerton.
Oh.
Or the blind lady. There's the big twist.
Oh.
Yeah. It was all set up by her. But either way,
I forgot about the blind lady.
Yeah. And then the Green Knight just gives him he comes down, but just gives him a scratch on the back of his neck. Okay. And it's like, now your lesson's learned.
Like, won't give him the glory of...
Yeah, exactly. But it was just like, don't lie. This one, I think I like this one a little bit better, where it's like...
Sounds like Boy Cried Wolf, but not as good.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a 14th century fable. What do you expect?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one kind of did that with a bit more gravitas behind it, because they kind of played with
expanded
how he failed on his journey. And then, what did I like about it?
Yeah. I didn't know what to ask, but okay.
Outdoor landscape shots were shot and lit very well. I thought the lighting was almost breathtaking. I don't know, it really stood out to me. The long tracking shots, obviously, it's a feat. Dev Patel loved his little stoic. He was just eating up the camera. He loved it. He had a rowing scene, a horse riding scene,
little like movement activity.
Yeah, the crawling on the ground. You could tell he was just going all out for this. So kudos to him.
All night. Yeah. Tie me up again. Great form with the oar as well. Very intentional.
Yeah.
As far as other predictions.
Oh yeah, you nailed a couple.
I got a big W with the mushrooms and the hallucinogen.
Yeah.
His hand started like melting away.
And then he saw the Green Knight.
Yeah. So that I felt quite good. That's kind of a staple of like A24 at this point. So many themes being hit over your head to the point where you can't really figure out what's going on.
I'm sure there's some religious allegory going on.
Oh yeah. You were like pretty on the nose with like a lot of like scriptures and like old papers that kind of tell the broader strokes of the story.
Yeah.
Acting, like, it was fine. Like,
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you forgot one more prediction. Audio/dialogue will be very Nolan-esque.
Yeah.
11 minutes and 15 seconds till we turn those subbies on.
Those did help a lot.
They did, yeah.
There were some words I was like, really? You said muse there.
You also needed a pair of glasses for this movie, eh?
What do you mean?
All the title screenshots.
Yeah, okay. So there was this, like, there's a lot of, oh yeah, I have at the beginning, there's like irritatingly quirky titles at the beginning. Like, they were going so fast,
Yeah,
you couldn't even
The Christmas
read it.
Arrives.
And like jolting from like, oh, like left corner, bottom right. And I was like, that's just you guys fucking around in the edit studio. Put it there. Cut it away before they can read it. But then also there's like chapters in the movie.
Yeah.
And they were written in like, I don't know.
Old English,
Old
I think,
English.
yeah.
And I just couldn't read it. I was like, be reading? And you're like, beheading, dude. So
It uses zero context clues.
yeah, I was just like really tired, and like I was just expecting it to be like more of a strange word than it really was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the acting was like it left a little bit to be desired.
I thought Dev was pretty good.
Yeah, he was fine. You had like the king, I didn't think was terrific.
Hello, Ethan.
Yeah, like his character was very like one-dimensional, just like said nice things.
Yeah.
And like his mom didn't really do much.
Wasn't really in it. Alicia Vikander
Wasn't feeling her performance at
No.
all. She was, especially like
She
the
was
B-Tech
better.
version
Yeah.
of her.
She was better in the late Lord and Lady House.
Yeah, like she was really like hamming up that character.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the accent felt really poor and like.
She felt more herself. I bet you she felt a lot more comfortable in the Lady
And
House
I'm sure
one.
she was like told to do that, like have an edge to you, like feel a little bit like undesirable. She was like very clingy, right? Like in the way she was saying things. Like
Yeah.
So I think I think they gave her like worse teeth as well. Like I don't know if you noticed that. Like I think she has more prosthetic teeth and stuff. So I guess that's part of it.
That's part of it because then he leaves her in the slums, right?
Yeah, like her accent kept like changing mid-sentence, which for me was one step too far. I was gonna say the other really thing I liked was the sound design, especially the Green Knight when he's like walking. Yeah, terrific. Like absolutely one of the best parts in the movie.
Score was pretty interesting.
Yeah, score was good. Lots of percussion. Some nice horns. Good stuff as far as the score goes.
There was one A24, I guess, classic cliche we missed, and that's goats and animals.
Oh yeah,
scene,
and like bickering animals.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of gets a little bit too aggressive.
One of them's gonna die.
Yeah. Twitching.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Neck just snaps spontaneously.
Yeah.
Did you look up anything about those giants? You got anything for me there?
I saw something on a Reddit comment where someone was at a screening, and then the director or the producers or writers or whatever did like a Q&A, and someone asked him about the giants. Like, yeah, we weren't really sure where we were going with that one, but we thought it was cool. Yeah.
That annoys me.
That's a twice removed. Yeah. Apparently.
I have to look into that because I thought there was like, we talked about that $15 million budget. Like I'd say like pretty well stretched.
Yeah. The Fox was pretty rough.
Yeah. The Fox wasn't great, but the celestial beings looked good. Like it had a good sense of scale to it. Like I felt like the world was very like large, and there was some really, like you said, some really good landscape stuff. But overall, like not a movie I would ever watch again. I can't even imagine watching it again. It would be
it'd be
very tedious.
Yeah, so I just pull up this comment again. It says the producers were there to do some Q&A. We're asked about the giants, and honestly, they didn't have much of an explanation. They said it was really fun to shoot and very awkward because they kept having a bunch of naked women walking around.
Interesting.
So, I mean, obviously this...
See, when I hear things like
this
that...
This merits a deeper dive because I don't want to believe that, because that to me reaffirms that they're just chucking things in. Like, oh, this is cool.
And if
5-second vignettes.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of vignettes.
Vignettes.
So if that really is the case, then I think a lot of this movie starts to fall apart. Because
then they're just letting us find our own meaning without them putting in... Because, I mean, if you're writing a movie, you're putting in the work to, like you said, you have the thread... and you're connecting the dots, and then it's up for the... you have the thread, and you're running it through, and it's up for the audience to kind of find the thread and follow along.
Exactly. And a really good example of that, I don't know if you've seen it, I'm Thinking of Ending Things. It's on Netflix.
Oh, that's...
Jesse Plemons.
I've heard of it. It's really out there, right?
If you think this is out there, like, it's another level.
Yeah, I was told that I wouldn't like it, so I haven't.
I think it's the ultimate movie to watch if you do want to watch a movie, have absolutely no idea what's going on, be convinced that there's no deeper meaning, and then watch a video and everything makes sense.
Oh god.
And that for me was really weird. Like there's one sequence towards the end where I was like, no. And then I looked it up and there was a pretty decent explanation for it.
Nice.
But it was like, it's still like not an enjoyable watch because you feel like an idiot from start to finish. But this, to me, I don't think is at that same level of like the thread we're talking about.
Okay, yeah. So it's too much of a reach, or they weren't even thinking of connecting things.
Exactly. You're just like taking sounds like they took the general gist of the poem and they just ran with it. So it's like, let's come up with a whole bunch of other scenarios just connected to a larger theme of like inadequacy or...
Yeah. Someone who's trying to go for fame and glory.
Yeah, when they're just not really destined for it.
Yeah. So I guess you did this a couple episodes ago. Jeez. You did this a couple episodes ago to me, so I kind of liked it. So when I throw it back to you here, sum it up in 2 to 3 sentences.
Man goes on journey, doesn't feel like that great. Turns out he's not.
Okay, sum up your review in 2 or 3 sentences.
I thought it was like a story summary.
Nope.
Overall, an intriguing idea with some good themes presented, but overall a nonsensical plot that's probably not worth your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Cuts deep.
Yeah, I don't love Dev Patel, it turns out.
Hey, me either.
Because this was him really getting to like shine. Like he kind of got to do with this character like whatever he wanted, I feel.
Yeah, like
it's not that I don't like him. I think he's a good actor.
Like his character pissed me off, which I think is a testament to his acting.
Yeah,
right? His character was so annoying.
Yeah,
and so like untruthful and ungrateful.
Yeah. And pants. Stop panting so much.
Yeah.
And just like like his character felt very inconsistent. It was like one minute he was trying to be this like noble guy, and the next I guess that's the point.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, hit me as well. I think you're gonna avoid this better than I did.
Interesting visuals, too many one-off interactions that feel disjointed.
Right.
Overall theme is decent. Like talking about it with you, I'm feeling a bit better about it, to be honest.
Right.
Kind of piecing together with this whole, tasks he failed, but without that connecting thread, it felt boring and it felt lost, and it made me feel a bit dumb.
I think that was the biggest issue with the movie, was the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
You can have these like really out there vignettes and these like little thematic moments that aren't super connected, but you've got to like keep that pace going.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You have to give me something to like think about.
Yeah, and nothing really built on anything. It was very like separate.
Yeah, like there was no escalation.
Yes.
It was just like a very steady pace the whole way through.
Yeah, which is fine. But if it's not, well, if it's not connected, it's...
and even if it's not like the typical like ramp up then go down, like reverse it, do something different with like the flow. But you can't just like maintain that same.
Yeah, like a dribbling creek.
Yeah. Like 35% incline.
From
start to finish.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
So let's do a blockbuster next.
Yeah, I think our next one will be Shang-Chi
and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah, stay tuned. Tickets are purchased.
Already getting rave reviews.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was like a dazzling martial arts epic that shatters expectations.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So
I'm excited.
Until then,
I've been Aman.
And I have been Anthony.
Thanks for listening.